Hello subscribers and potential subscribers, I am Jay Shady, also known as the Voice of Reason, and I am here with my Wrestlemania 5 review. So if you saw my Wrestlemania 4 review, which you should definitely check out, at this point being right now, it is the worst WrestleMania of all time. I have not seen WrestleMania 6 to 13, so we'll see if that still stands after I watch WrestleMania 9, but right now, WrestleMania 4 is my worst WrestleMania of all time. And we follow it up. WrestleMania 5, same venue, Trump Plaza, Atlantic City, New Jersey. The only time WrestleManias were held at the same venue back to back. And what does WrestleMania 5 do? It improves on the last show, but not by that much. Very mediocre show to me. I mean, this was as mediocre could get. I was bored throughout this whole show, really. I mean, there was some matches that were okay or good, but this show was boring, man. I mean, just as boring as the last WrestleMania, but it did have some better stuff. So let's get into the card, shall we? The first match, the opening match, was Hercules versus King Haku. I mean, this was the best match that you could expect out of these two guys, I guess. It was an okay opener. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't expecting much, so I mean, they did, I thought it was going to be a train wreck, but it wasn't. So, they did the best that you could get out of both of them, but it still wasn't good or anything. It was just okay for an opener. Hercules gets the win with a bridging back suplex, and he gets his shoulder up. Hercules gets his shoulder up before the 3 count, but King Haku doesn't. Alright, then you get the Twin Towers, Akeem and the Big Boss Man versus the Rockers, Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty. And I don't know, I enjoyed this match. I mean, I didn't love it, I didn't think it was a great match, but I enjoyed it probably mainly because it's Shawn Michaels' first WrestleMania match, so, first time I get to see Shawn Michaels in WrestleMania. So that might be why I enjoyed it more than, for the match quality itself. But I did think the beginning of the match was good. A lot of fast-paced double team moves with the Rockers. I mean, it was okay. It wasn't bad or anything. And the fact that it was Shawn Michaels made me like it a little more than maybe I should have. The Twin Towers get the win when Big Boss Man does some type of slam to Shawn Michaels and Akeem does a splash on top of him and they get the victory. It was okay, and being a huge Shawn Michaels fan, it was alright. It was pretty good. Then you get Brutus the Barber Beefcake versus Ted DiBiase. This wasn't a bad match. It was, I mean, it kind of dragged on a little bit, but it was okay. Yeah, like the whole show was very mediocre. Nothing spectacular, nothing like horrible. I mean, some stuff was horrible, but a lot of this stuff was mediocre, and I thought this was an okay match. It ends with a double countout, so that ruined. I hate a lot of these old shows. So many countouts and disqualifications. I mean, why even do all these like 16 match manias if most of them are gonna be countouts and double disqualifications? So anyway, yeah. Next we get the retard match of the night, the fucking goofball match, the Bushwhackers versus the Fabulous Rougeaus. This was just this was horrible. I mean, it wasn't that long, but the 5 minutes that it took up were a horrible 5 minutes. I mean, the Bushwhackers just being really like stupid and retarded. I mean, I never understood the popularity of these people. I don't know how popular they were back in the day, but they just look like a bunch of retards when you watch this shit in 2013. They can't wrestle or anything. Their like moves are just some battering rams holding the other guy's head. They're licking each other's heads. Stupid retard match. Please, get out of here. This shouldn't be on a WrestleMania show. So, did not like it at all. Then you get Bushwhackers get the win. Somehow, who the fuck cares? I think they do like a double backbreaker or something. I don't know. Then you get Mr. Perfect versus the Blue Blazer, who is Owen Hart in a superhero mask. I liked this match. It didn't get that much time, but I liked it a lot. I thought it was very fast paced. A lot of, the first WrestleMania with Mr. Perfect and Owen Hart. I thought a lot of good moves, a lot of good wrestling moves, a lot of flipping around and fast paced. I like my matches fast paced, and this delivered on that aspect. I mean, it didn't get enough time to be great or anything, but it was definitely very enjoyable. The best matchup to this point. Mr. Perfect gets the win with a perfect plex. Good match. Then you get a handicap tag team match for the tag team championship. Demolition versus the Powers of Pain with Mr. Fuji in their corner also. I didn't like this match at all. A bunch of big guys just like, you know, I'm not a fan of big guy wrestling. I'm really not. I mean, it was slow. It was boring. I mean, I don't know what to say about it. Didn't like it. It wasn't even mediocre. It's less than mediocre. Demolition gets the win when they do. One of the Demolition guys have Mr. Fuji laying down on his leg, and the other guy gives him an elbow drop off the top rope, and it looked very shitty. Very shitty end to a very shitty match. Alright, then you get Dino Bravo versus Ronnie Garvin. I don't know what to say about this. I don't know who the fuck Ronnie Garvin is. I don't like Dino Bravo at all. I've never, from all these WrestleMania matches, they all suck with Dino Bravo. He gets the win somehow. Very fucking forgettable. Very forgettable guy. Stupid match, short match. Blah. Fuck out of here. Then you get the Brainbusters, Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard versus Strikeforce. And I like this match. The thing with these WrestleManias, it's usually like a lot of the tag team matches delivered, whereas the singles matches didn't. You had a lot of good tag team wrestling back in the day, which you cannot say at all for this day and age. So yeah, this you had Strikeforce. In the match, Rick Martel turns around and walks away on Tito Santana, leaving Tito Santana as the only guy in the ring for Strikeforce. So Rick Martel backstabs him. A lot of cool stuff in this match. It was fast paced. It ends with a spike pile driver from the Brainbusters onto Tito Santana, and they pick up the victory. So good match. Then you get Jake the Snake Roberts versus Andre the Giant with special guest referee Big John Studd. This was a boring match. I mean, it started out okay actually, but it too much like just choking and laying against the ropes and stalling and not doing anything. It started out okay, but it went on for almost 10 minutes, and after 2 minutes it got really slow, and then it's a fucking another disqualification. Andre the Giant starts beating up Big John Studd, so bad match. And then you get the Hart Foundation versus the Honky Tonk Man and Greg Valentine. This was a good match, another tag team match that delivers. This is what they did best back in the day. Good stuff, Bret Hart being the excellence of execution. Good stuff from both teams. It ends with, while the referee's back is turned, I think Bret Hart hits either the Honky Tonk Man or Greg Valentine with Jimmy Hart's megaphone, and they get the victory. So it was a good match, good tag team match. Then you get Rick Rude versus the Ultimate Warrior, and I liked this match. I thought it was a good match. I was very into it. The Ultimate Warrior was a little sloppy at times, a little dangerous, on the part of Rick Rude. It looked like he might kill Rick Rude at some parts. But I thought I liked the match. There was a lot of near falls, a lot of energy, some good power stuff, good wrestling on the part of Rick Rude. I enjoyed it. Thought it was a good Intercontinental Championship match. Rick Rude gets the win. Ultimate Warrior is doing a suplex from outside of the ring, outside from the ring apron on Rick Rude into the ring, and Rick Rude reverses it, falls on top of Ultimate Warrior, and gets the 3 count because Bobby Heenan is holding the Ultimate Warrior's legs down ringside. So it was a good Intercontinental Championship match. Then you get Hacksaw Jim Duggan versus Bad News Brown. This was just, what do you expect? I mean, this match did not feature one wrestling move in the entirety of the whole match. All it was a bunch of punching and striking the whole match. This was horrible. It didn't last long, but it was horrible. It was a double disqualification. Hacksaw Jim Duggan and Bad News Brown are fighting with the floor in a chair. Alright, why the fuck did this have to be on the show? Then you get the Red Rooster versus Bobby Heenan. Oh my god, I didn't even know about this Red Rooster guy, but this might be the worst, maybe one of the worst gimmicks I've ever seen. I mean, I feel bad for whoever this guy is to be given a shitty gimmick like the Red Rooster. He's wearing little rooster hair on top of his head, making noise like a rooster, bobbing his neck. Oh my god, what the fuck was Vince McMahon thinking with some of these stupid gimmicks? Red Rooster beats Bobby Heenan in 30 seconds. I mean, I can't even talk about the match. It was horrible. Why did this have to be on the card? Then you get the main event. Hulk Hogan versus Randy Savage for the WWF Championship. And first of all, before I even go into this, for those people saying that John Cena and CM Punk are the new Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage, oh, that's funny, yeah. Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage, that's great, yeah. Laughing out loud, that's a great comparison, you know. Hulk Hogan, the guy that brought WWF worldwide fame, being compared to John Cena, the guy driving the ratings down the fucking toilet, you know. Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage, John Cena and CM Punk. It should not be even uttered in the same paragraph. Even on the same day, you shouldn't say those names together. John Cena is nowhere near the popularity of Hulk Hogan, and as good as as much as everybody loves CM Punk and as great as I think he is, he should not be uttered in the same sentence as Macho Man Randy Savage. Macho Man is on the top 5 of the greatest ever, maybe the top 3. CM Punk is nowhere near the greatness of the Macho Man Randy Savage. As much as he tries to rip off his trunks and rip off his elbow that he can't do as good as Macho Man, he'll never be in the same league as Macho Man. Ooh, yeah! So the story of this match was the main thing. This started at WrestleMania 4. This was a year in the making, the storyline. Hulk Hogan and Macho Man formed the Mega Powers team, the 2 top baby faces in the company. Throughout the year, they were picking up victories, and then eventually Macho Man was getting a little jealous between Hulk Hogan and Miss Elizabeth's relationship, and this caused a little stir in their partnership. And in February of WrestleMania 5 that year, Macho Man smacks Hogan in the face and walks away from their tag team match, and backstage beats him up with the title belt. You know, Miss Elizabeth, he's thinking that he's getting a little jealous between Hulk Hogan and Miss Elizabeth. Also getting jealous that Hulk Hogan was, he felt like Hulk Hogan was trying to get the title from Macho Man without, telling him to his face, trying to swerve away around his back. So a lot of build up. This was huge, this match. You had Miss Elizabeth being in the neutral corner, being in the middle of it all, not saying who she's going for, wanting both guys to just settle this in any other place than a wrestling ring. And I thought this was one of the cases where the story was better than the match itself. Great story, maybe one of the greatest stories of all time. But the match disappointed on some levels for me. I was expecting a lot out of this match. I mean, you have Hulk Hogan and Macho Man Randy Savage. How bigger could it possibly get than that? But the match was slow in the beginning. It was a lot of faking out and psyching out with Macho Man leaving the ring. A lot of rest holds, and I thought these guys could have done a lot better. I would have liked to see a WrestleMania rematch between these guys where these guys, get another chance to amp it up. But this is, the story was great, though. It definitely picked up in the last couple of minutes with Macho Man sending Miss Elizabeth out, sending her backstage. Hulk Hogan and Macho Man definitely picked up the pace. You had Hulk Hogan kicking out of the flying elbow. I believe that was the first time somebody kicked out of the flying elbow. And then he hulks up, gets the leg drop, and beats Randy Savage for the WWF Championship. So, yeah, good main event. It was a good main event, mainly because of the story and, the 2 names involved. But it could have been a lot better, in my opinion. One of those things where the story was a lot better than the match. The match was good, but it did disappoint on a lot of levels for me. But yeah, there you go. A very mediocre WrestleMania 5. As mediocre could get. You had some good matches. You had a lot of blah matches, a lot of horrible matches, and a lot of mediocre matches. And the main event, on some aspects, failed to deliver for me. So, what says mediocre more than a 5 out of 10? That's why I have to give this. Right down the middle, 5 out of 10. Not a good WrestleMania. So, back-to-back bad WrestleManias, 4 and 5. Please, WrestleMania 6 be more enjoyable than these previous 2 WrestleManias. So there you go. There's my review. Hope you enjoyed it. Jay Shady, Voice of Reason. Like, comment, subscribe.